Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next episode of Meet the Mets. Um, so, we are right at the start of the playoffs. The regular season just ended, and we probably overreacted quite a bit on the last episode and every episode prior, to be perfectly honest. We ended up winning 98 games. We tied the Braves for the division, and we lost the tiebreaker. We had some really awful um, sweeps or series losses to the Braves after the trade deadline. There's this one we went 1-2. This one we went 1-2. Um, and I think that's all we played the Braves relevantly towards the end of the year. So we lost those pretty bad, but we did make the playoffs as the wild card team. Um, this team was a lot better, I think, than I had anticipated. So lucky us, we get the Dodgers in the first round. The Braves get the winner of the Giants or the Cardinals. Um, yeah, we won 98 games. So the Cardinals won 81 to win their division, which is incredible and not in a good way. The 100 win Dodgers are who we get to go up against in the playoffs. So it would have been really nice to win this tiebreaker, but I think the offense was not great and the pitching staff imploded in this 2-4. Yeah, 4-0, 5-4 win, 2-3 loss, and then 0-5, 4-9, and then 9-5. So it wasn't great, but overall this team was really good. I kind of started playing with my pitching staff for the playoffs already, but season recap. Verlander was so good. Verlander made 35 starts. He pitched 212 innings. He was worth 5.3 WAR. His strikeout to walk percentage, or strikeout percentage minus walk percentage, usually around 20% is considered elite. So he's at 21%. His traditional stats, his ERA was 2.42, 3.29 FIP, 213 strikeouts in 212 innings. He was really good. Scherzer was also really good, which was kind of surprising. His ratings tanked all year, but his production kind of stayed the same. His innings pitched were significantly lower, but at 39 years old, I think you take 33 starts, 174 innings. He got banged up the last 2 weeks, um, so with a shoulder strain, so he didn't pitch the last 2 weeks of the season, but he should be good to go, I think, for Game 3 against LA if it's necessary. Um, his strikeout percentage minus walk percentage is at 19. 3.05 ERA, 3.44 FIP, 171 strikeouts, and 174 innings. Feels low, but he was also good, right? So I think we sign up for that too. Senga was great. It's surprising that he pitched out of the bullpen for 2 games. I don't know when that happened. Why does it? Oh, in the WBC. Oh, their stats are built in here, which is kind of weird. Um, Scope Major League Baseball. Okay, there we go. That's better. That's better. Yeah, so Senga's numbers were not as good. So, which is a little bit more accurate. He was really good for most of the year. His last few starts were not, and he just kind of, I feel like he just went a little bit longer than he should have. But from a 30-year-old rookie, if you told me this is what he was going to do at the start of the year, I would have been a little disappointed, but not all that disappointed. Zach Wheeler was a good pickup. He was worth 3 WAR. And if you look right over here, he had a 2.14 ERA for us. So that was a really good trade deadline deal. I'm really happy I did that. Tyler McGill was sensational out of the bullpen in that stopper role. He pitched 140 innings. He had 190 strikeouts. He got 10 saves. He didn't start a game, but we didn't need him to. And he was so good all year. That was a really good decision, putting him towards the back of the bullpen. And then for the rest of the guys, Morejon, Ottavino, Garrett Crochet, David Robertson. These guys all pretty much performed as we kind of wanted them to. Quintana finally came back, and I threw him in the back of the bullpen um, to kind of. David Peterson was pitching too well for me to really disrupt, and I didn't want to go to a 6-man rotation. So he pitched towards the back of the bullpen. He was really good in the bullpen, and now he will be in that back five of the bullpen for the playoffs. And Hendricks was good in 7 innings, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts. So I think that's all you can ask after not really playing for all that long. The AAA team, I want to scope to Major League Baseball just for some of these guys. Drew Smith was fine, totally fine. As a middle reliever, I think you sign up for this too. Absolutely fine. Maybe even good. He pitched in 36 games, 42 innings. And the numbers, the peripherals, and the traditional stats were good, but maybe not good enough to warrant the salary I think he's due. That's ratings. In arbitration, he's due for 1.5 over 1.3. Maybe we look to move him. Maybe we look to move on. Forze performed admirably in 18 innings. Rayleigh was not great in 18 innings. Jose Buto was pretty good in 12 2/3 after he came back from that injury. I sent him down to AAA. Justin Dunn only pitched 6 2/3, and Paolo Espino never pitched for us. That Major League Baseball stats came from the Nats. There's nobody in AA, right? No, none of these guys pitched for me. Oh, Spencer Turnbull, but we talked about him. He was not good. 13 1/3 innings out of the bullpen. 8.1 ERA, not good. So he went down. The injured list for pitchers. Edwin Diaz, he's 2 weeks out. If we can advance, then who knows? He could totally come back. At that point, let's just stack. Oh, he's got to be on the 40-man, whatever. Dylan Bundy didn't show up, but again, he was so good. So good. 57 innings. He was worth a 1.0 WAR. That was such a nice find. And even anecdotally, when we needed that, he came in and he performed and did so well for us. So I think he deserves a really big shout out. Who did I miss? There's some pitchers that got missed. Nabil Krismat, we claimed him off waivers. He performed fine. Totally fine. Nothing special. So that was helpful in a long relief role, emergency starter type. And David Peterson didn't show up either, but he was pretty good all year. His walk per 9 were really high, but in 29 starts, 135 innings, they kept him on a really short leash, which I think helped maximize his value. He put up 2 WAR, which was good, 3.86 ERA. He is off the playoff roster because I don't trust with his 4 walks per 9, so he's not going to be on our playoff roster. Nagosic we missed. He was fine, right? 54 innings of 0.4 WAR. I think that's above average, and he just ate up some innings that we needed to eat. And I think that's it for the pitching staff, pretty much. The offense, I really, really was worried about, and it ended up being better than I could have predicted. Starling Marte was a defensive god. He put up 5 WAR, and his bat was not good at all. This was not a good bat. This was not a good offensive year for him because this game does not like Francisco Lindor's bat. But the defense was special, and he was still lights out defensively, and he was worth 5 WAR, which is crazy when most of that comes from your bat. Starling Marte was good defensively and offensively, 112 WRC plus, 116 OPS plus. His walk numbers were fine. His strikeout numbers were a little high. He hit 280, 341, 425 for a 766 OPS. That's not great. Only 15 bombs, but 30 stolen bases. That's not great, but solid above average regular. Michael Ciani was wild. He played 100 games. He put up 3 WAR. It's like Francisco Lindor where that defensive value just counts for so much. And the offensive numbers were pretty good. 768 OPS. He put up 9 bombs, 27 stolen bases. He only played 95 games. His BABIP was really high, so that could come down. But this was a revelation in center. Omar Narvaez was also really good. We talked about him early. He really cooled off, but his offensive numbers were still great. Um, 10 home runs, 41 RBI, 50 runs, 1 stolen base. His BABIP was high at 344, but again, we live with that. And there could be some regression coming anyway. And he only played 111 games. We managed that pretty well. And if you told me he would have put this up at the start of the season, I would have been happy. Nimmo, on the other hand, he put up 2.5 WAR with his bat slightly above average, and that just wasn't good enough for me, at least. The on-base percentage was great, but that seemed to be the only offensive tool he had this year. After being really special in real life in 2022, offensively, he just kind of came down to earth, and I would much rather prefer the 2022 offensive profile of Brandon Nimmo rather than the 2023 out of the park offensive profile. But he played 144 games, and that's good. And his walk rate was really good. His on base was really good. So there are things to be happy about. Beatty, kind of the same thing. He was worth 2 WAR, but a lot of that I think was defensively. His bat was above average, which you take. He's a 23-year-old rookie getting his first real taste, and he put up 18 home runs. So this is a good year one for Beatty. Played 155 games. That's great too. Pete was a disappointment. Pete only played 92 games this year. He put up 400 plate appearances. He still put up a 2 WAR, a 130 WRC plus, and he hit 31 home runs. So my major issue isn't really with the stat production that he did put up. My issue is he couldn't stay healthy, and what could he have done over a full season? That home run total could have gone up to 50. The offense would have looked less inept, and maybe we could have beaten the Braves. So we got close on the contract extension. He wants less money now, which is good, but we just didn't have it in next year's budget with all the pending team options and things like that. Yeah, he hurt his foot. His hamstring strain 5 to 6 weeks. He hurt his foot for 2 to 3. So hopefully that's just it. There's no more major issues in Pete's horizon. Francisco Alvarez was special. His bat heat up really, really quickly, and it got really hot once it got hot. He put up a 128 WRC plus, a 136 OPS plus, almost at Pete Alonso levels, right? And I think he had a great August. His slugging percentage was lower, but it's fine. 121 hits, 23 doubles, 26 home runs, 75 RBI, 61 runs. He was so good this year, and he finally kind of broke out, which is something we really, really needed. We needed that secondary big bat since nobody else wanted to really show up. What was his September was his good month. He put up 1.4 WAR, and July, but he was hot and cold, right? April he was worth 1.5. May he was worth 0.3. June was bad. July was good. August was good, and September was good. So he got that rough middle patch, hopefully out of the way. And then this July, August, September hitter is somebody that we can count on him being in the future. But yeah, like 200 OPS plus in September. He showed up in the clutch when we needed him to. He was great, especially as a DH only type. And that exceeded probably all expectations I had for Francisco Alvarez. Jeff McNeil, kind of similar to Nimmo in just about every stat this season. Not great, slightly above average, and defensive specialists. So I would rather see a little bit more offensively from Jeff. That's kind of what we needed from him, and we didn't get it. He was also hurt or suspended or both. I can't remember. Trace Thompson was waived by the Dodgers after being really good, and then he was really bad for us. But his tools are useful, right? He gets on base, he hits bombs, and he's stellar defensively, and he's a good base runner. So he's somebody we're going to keep on the playoff roster for now. And we're going with a bigger bench. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus Aguilar worked out pretty well for us to fill in for Pete. His offensive numbers were better with us, but still pretty much in line with what he was doing in Oakland. I think his home run rate was just higher. Nick Gordon was serviceable, right? Perfectly serviceable as a backup utility guy. His bat was not good, but I think with more playing time, it would have been better. He played, I think, everywhere this year. He played second, third, short, left, center, right. He didn't play first. He didn't catch, but that's some incredible versatility just to have on the back of your bench. So I think we take that, right? Murph was really cold and then really hot. So I think, and again, there's the whole personal side to keeping Murph here, but as a left-handed pinch hitter, I think he can provide some value, and he had a 105 OPS plus for us this season. So that's some value off the bench. Mark Vientos was terrible, absolutely awful in 60 games at major league level. He had a 38% strikeout percentage. His walk rate was actually pretty good, but everything else just cratered this year for him at the major league level. And I don't really know how much playing time he's going to get in the playoffs, but we're going to keep him just in case. If we need if we have a left-handed hitter, a left-handed pitcher coming up, and a lefty hitter, he's a good pinch hitter. I think I would trust him in that situation at least a little bit. And his AAA numbers were so good this year. It makes no sense. He played 80 games. He hit 340, 433, 614 for an OPS over 1 and an OPS plus of 160. So I think I said last episode, maybe just let him cook at AAA and pull him up for good next year because that AAA numbers are so good. But average it out, and he's average. He's not great. And I think we're going to expect more from him for next year. I don't want to jump ahead too far to next year, but I think I like how the team would shape up. And most of this offense returns in pretty good roles. And Tomas Nido was bad. His defense could not save his offense this year, but with a 70 grade defensive catcher off the bench, I think that's okay in certain situations, right? He had 561 defensive innings. His catcher ERA was 2.89, and how much of that was Verlander, how much of that was Scherzer, Senga, guys like that. But we're gonna keep him on the playoff roster for that defensive substitution, and he's not gonna play every third game. So looking ahead real quick, we have a lot of money. A lot of this comes off. It's like 30 million. So we're looking at a similar payroll for next year. And I think that most of this team should be fine coming back. I like this team. 98 wins is nothing to scoff at. And, playing correctly, there's no reason we can't make a deep playoff run. So we're playing the Dodgers first, right? 11:05 Eastern time start. That's terrible. I would never. No way. Sorry, that's the dog in the background. They had good seasons from Miguel Vargas. He was pretty good. JD Martinez was fine. Freddie Freeman was special. Mookie Betts was special. Michael Busch looked like he had a really good start to his career. Good numbers at AAA. Good numbers on this call up. I don't know how sustainable that is. Will Smith was great. Traded for Andrew McCutchen. That's a little weird. I think he should have had a no trade clause personally in his last year in Pittsburgh. Rojas and Taylor, the pitching staff was good. Looks like Kershaw got hurt. Urias was good, and Dustin May. So that's who we're gonna play. That's the recap, and we'll check in towards the playoffs. Thanks for watching, everyone.